I am Kate Volman, and I am so pleased to introduce you to Mike Michalowicz. He is the entrepreneur behind 3 multi-million-dollar companies, and he is also a very successful speaker and author. He's written Profit First, The Pumpkin Plan, and what some call the entrepreneurial's cult classic, The Toilet Paper Entrepreneur. Mike is a former small business columnist for the Wall Street Journal, and he regularly travels the globe as an entrepreneurial advocate. So, Mike, thank you so much. I'm so excited to talk to you.
Oh, it's such a pleasure to connect, Kate. This time we're going to get it right, because I know we had trouble last time with our audio video.
Yes, and I have to say, you're such a cool guy, because we did have a challenge. We're doing this again, and I so appreciate you taking the time. One of the things that I really appreciate about you, Mike, because I've had the opportunity to hear you speak on stage and meet you in person, you are just so real, and you have incredible stories. You not only have these stories in your book, but just the stories that you share of the people that you've worked with, but also what you've gone through. And that's one thing that I find a lot of business books, of course, you can talk about theory and what could and may work, but you actually, by the age of 35, you had built up and sold 2 big companies, and then you became an angel investor, and things didn't really work out such as planned. So can you tell us about that?
I know. I was a train wreck, and the reason I share and I'll share what the story is, but the reason I share those stories is, I read books written that are very academic, and while I enjoy the content, it doesn't seem applicable to me. It seems too big, too hard. I have to be perfect. So I want to show in my books a different path, that, things get ugly for us. And my ugly story was, after selling my second company, it was acquired by a Fortune 500. It's Robert Half International. They acquired my company, and I got this big fat check, actually multiple big fat checks. I'm like, I am God's gift to entrepreneurship. I know everything. I got full of myself, wasn't really aware of it. But then I started spending money. I became an angel investor. I call myself the angel of death. I was the worst angel investor of all time. I didn't understand really what I needed to do, nor was it my skill set. So they were collapsing. I was spending money on trophies, big house, many cars, vacation home in Hawaii, all these different things. Show my success, which, by the way, when someone needs to show their success like I did, that's the definition of not successful. And it was a matter of only 2 years. I nearly bankrupted myself. I never declared bankruptcy. My accountant argues I should have, but I didn't. But I did hit rock bottom, and that meant no money, nothing. And I had to come home to my family. I'll never forget. It was February 14th of 2008, and I came home and I was crying because I told my wife I had 3 children, told them it's all gone, and had to start anew. And that, by the way, resulted in depression for 2 years. It wasn't like I was like, okay, now I'm going to fix everything. It was 2 years of drinking. I'm not really a drinker. Drinking and insomnia. But fortunately, I found certain seeds of turning my life around, my business around, and ultimately something I felt compelled to share in my books.
And it really is such an awesome story. And now you're all about profit first. I mean, everything that you really write about. One of the things that you were talking about was, when you talk to small businesses, they want to talk about, I have this great company and all these employees and all these clients. But you talk about how it's more important to talk through, are you a healthy company? Not just, are you a big? So let's talk about that.
Yeah, I get the jitters.
What's a healthy company?
Yeah, I get the jitters because I hear so many people, including myself, by the way, for years, for decades, the how big is it question. And, I'm not that how big is that, but how big is your business, right? And so you go into a meeting and I'm like, oh, how much revenue are you doing? How many employees do you have? How many clients do you have? These are all backhanded questions to how big is it? And we were judging each other, entrepreneurs judge each other on the size of our business. If you can't say you're doing $1 million, you're nothing. And if you're in a group of 1 million, of entrepreneurs that do $1 million, you got to be the person doing 5 million. It's this one-upsmanship about revenue. And it's invasive in our society. You look at magazines, read articles, it's always the revenue, the top line that everyone talks about. Twitter does this many millions, Google 7 billion. But no one talks about the bottom line. And quite frankly, at the end of the day, it's all that matters. I consider revenue the stress level. The more revenue I generate, that means the more responsibility I have, the more clients I have to serve. It actually increases my stress. There's more weight on running my company. It's the profitability that brings the relief, the health to a business. So when people say, Mike, tell me about your business, what kind of revs are you doing? I ask, or how big is it? I go, let me ask you a question. How healthy is your business? And it gives people this kind of deer in the headlights look, because I'm asking, how sustainable is your business? What's the bottom line look like? And I believe all of us should stop asking about the size of the business. I'd rather have a business that does $100,000 in revenue and I'm taking home $99,000. If I can pull that off, that's golden. That's better than the company does $1 million where I'm taking home $50,000. So it's the bottom line. It is the most critical factor. It is your health factor.
So what should a company be doing? Because, and we talked about this the last time we spoke, with small business owners, it's a lot about, where should I spend my money? I need to be marketing more. I need to be getting myself out there. Instead of focusing so much on growing, what should some of their first steps be? Let's sit down and really look at XYZ so that we are positioning ourselves to become a healthy company, instead of just kind of, I feel like there's just so many buzzwords around with all this stuff. So what are those three things, those things that people should do?
Yeah, so the general approach is, if you want to grow, you got to serve more people. And we start actually increasing the variability in our service or product offering, meaning do more things. And we increase the variability in our clients, do more things for more people. And when you do more things for more people, there's more variables. It becomes actually harder and harder to service. Therefore, we have to service at a surface level. Meaning, I can't go deep on anything. I can't really master a skill. I have to do it just good enough so I can get to the next client and do whatever they want. The key is actually reversing that, is by, first of all, picking a niche. And I can't speak about, I dedicated a book to this, The Pumpkin Plan, and actually 2 books. Surge is about the power of niches. And by the way, I'm a believer in industry niches. A lot of people say, well, I pick a demographic. I'm going to go after, men in their 50s and 60s who are trying to convert their business to a legacy business or something. Try to find the men's 50 to 70-year-old or 60-year-old conference forming a legacy. Like, that doesn't make sense. But there's definitely a dentist conference. There's definitely a bicycle manufacturers conference. You name the niche. There's a headset conference, I'm sure, manufacturers of electronic headsets. So for industries, we can find conferences. And what that means is we can find congregation points. These communities are already congregating at conferences, online, in forums to share knowledge. And what that means is, if we pierce that veil, we get into that community, everyone will know us. So step one is pick that niche. And I argue, pick an industry niche. It's much easier to break into that community and start being recognized by everyone. The second thing is, then we have to reduce the variability in what we do. Most of us say, I should add more services. I have a captive audience. I should do this and that. And we keep expanding it. But the more things we do, as I already said, it becomes harder to do. The beauty is, when you pick a niche, a narrow community, you can reduce your service offering because it's only specific to their needs. The analogy I used when we were talking offline, I mentioned this to you, is that this is the difference between a general practitioner and a heart surgeon. If, I'm in New Jersey, say you're in California, we're talking, you say, I got this nagging cough, it won't go away. And I say, oh, I got a great general practitioner. She's right down the road. You should visit with her. You'd be like, Mike, are you crazy? You want me to fly from California to, first of all, New Jersey? Secondly, to see your doctor? Like, no way. Like, I ain't doing it. But if that wasn't a cough, if that was indicative of a heart malformation, a heart disease, and we were talking on the phone, I said, you know what? The world's greatest heart surgeon literally is right in my town in New Jersey. I'm personal friends with her. Would you want an appointment? Yeah. I will fly across the country and I will pay a massive premium because now my life's on the line. The lesson is this: when we reduce our client set, a niche, we can then identify the clients who see our services as life life-threatening or life-saving, meaning their life is so on the line that our service will save them, and they will pay a premium, and they'll go to extraordinary measures to acquire us. If we pick a niche and just say, yeah, we'll do anything at any price for anybody, still in that niche, we've become the general practitioner. We're only going to attract people with surface level needs, but when their needs get serious, they go to the specialist. So be a specialist, be very focused, focus on a community, and inevitably you will excel.
And I want to share that if anyone is watching that is thinking, I don't want to be that niche because it's kind of scary. For some reason, it scares people to get really niche.
Sure.
Then you need to read the Pumpkin Plan, because that's what it's about. When you read it, you completely understand it. And Mike shares awesome stories about a number of different types of businesses that did go really niche. And not only did you talk about how it helped them grow their business, but you also talked about how it made it so much easier to get referrals from your current clients or other people, because you become known for that one specific thing.
Exactly.
So I don't know why so many businesses still they don't want to be niche, because they look at the internet and they think, I have all these, this is all my potential
huge
customers.
Opportunity, right? Well, I think I do know, because I've worked with so many businesses now. I get two common points of resistance. One is actually three, because one's what you just said. If I go into a niche, I'm ignoring the greater opportunity. I already argued that means dilution. You won't nearly be as good. And if someone comes into your market, into a specific category where you have a client and they're great at what they do and you're only mediocre, they're going to crush you. But here's the other 2 points of resistance. People say, if I go into a niche, if I specialize in a niche, I'm going to lose all my existing clients that aren't in that niche. That's not true. This is not niche exclusivity. This is niche specialization. Those are two distinct things. Niche specialization means we build a ongoing skill set for this community and market to it. But if a great opportunity comes to us from outside our category, but it's a great opportunity, take the business. That's great. So you can still do it. And the third thing I hear people say is, if I pick a niche, what if I pick the wrong niche? What if the niche collapses overnight? I could lose all my business. So I like to do research. So I researched out businesses or industries that collapsed overnight. I studied over 100. I've never found any industry collapse overnight. I looked at the horse and buggy, which was taken over by automobiles. That took 12 years. I looked at the real estate collapse of 2008. That actually slid over about 2 years. I looked at all these different industries. The taxi cab niche is, listen, if you're a taxi cab driver, probably not a good time to get into the business. It's on the slide. Thank you, Uber and Lyft. But the slide started 5 years ago. It still is sliding down. So if I have a service that caters to taxi cab drivers, I can still be in business. And I have enough of a lead time knowing that ain't going to be around forever now. It's on the slide down to move out of that niche. So once you understand those three arguments and you understand that they're all kind of not that significant of an argument, go for a niche. I'm telling you, the impact is significant.
That's awesome. Okay, so let's talk about when so we're talking to these small businesses, and let's say you're talking to someone in front of you and they're just at a plateau. They've got a good business. They've got some good clients. I love so what are some of the first things that you recommend? I have Pumpkin Plan on the brain because it's just so meant for me right now. So it's like all the stories are in my head about the process that you go through with people and how you
complete me. You so complete me. I want you to know that.
I'm thinking about your who would you choose to be on an island with? That's like what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Here's the key. When you hit a plateau, first of all, realize that's normal for all businesses. We go in these steps, and sometimes it's a step down and a step up. But when you hit that glass ceiling that you can't get through, inevitably, it's not that your employees aren't working hard enough. It's not that you aren't working hard enough. It's not that no one's hearing about you anymore. What's usually the problem is our own mindset. We have to make a shift. There's a saying, what got us here won't get us there. And it's absolutely true. We have to need to change the way we behave. I'll tell you one model I see happen over and over again. When a business just starts, say it's just my company, it's just me, the model is work your butt off. That's stage one. Then stage 2 is now I can afford 1 or 2 employees. I hire them. And then I do what's called the hub and spoke model, meaning I run the business and each employee is a spoke and I tell them what to do. They go do it. They come running back 10 minutes later saying, what do I do now? And I just keep on assigning out tasks. But that only works until you've got 3 or 4 employees. And then you need to shift to a new model, which is much more structured, where communication flow is not from you in the center. It's actually much more organic. At each one of those stages, we need to change our mindset. So whenever you face a plateau and say, how do I get through this? Ask a better question. How do I need to change to get through this? Your answer lies within.
That is awesome. So what about expectations? When people get into business, I mean, I don't know when you're talking to different people. I know I find that people, I think that they think they're going to grow or be really profitable very quickly. Like how does that look when you're getting into business? What do you share with people about what to expect over the next 1, 3, 5, 10 years?
Yeah. So, and I've done this myself. I remember my first business, I wrote the business plan, and then you get to that awesome moment where you're working on the spreadsheet and you say, if I get 10 clients and they do $1,000 each with me, that's $10,000 a month. And that means 120,000. And if I just do this, oh my God, I have a $5 million company in 2 years. And it feels right. And then we say, and that's pessimistic. That's if everything goes wrong, I'm hitting $5 million. And then 5 years later, we say, oh my God, I'm almost bankrupt. I've tried to kill myself 3 times. I don't have a single client and someone's suing me. The funny thing is, even our most pessimistic vantage point of our business is overly optimistic because we don't calculate all of the other elements around us. First of all, there's a shifting macro economy. New presidents come in and things shift. Competitors spring up, things shift. That key client you thought would stay with you forever sells out to another company and you're out of business. So the key is this. Your first element of your business plan actually is your grand vision and purpose. Where do you want the business to be? Like, where do you want it to end up? I put my 10-year vision. I want to have a business that gives me financial freedom, where I can do what I want when I want without ever having to look at my bank account. I want the business to have 15, 20 employees. I want the dog walking around the office. I want to have cool stuff on my shelves like a skull and stuff. Draw out the painted picture of what you want for yourself. Second, how are you serving the world? I want to have clients that were underdog entrepreneurs that have just turned around and now are so emboldened and so successful, they're inspiring the next generation of entrepreneurs. And then, and this is the most important part, have your life's purpose engaged in your business. Now, a lot of people don't know what your life's purpose is. I didn't know my life's purpose until I started asking myself a question. And I asked myself that every day for years, and it started to come to me. And I don't know if it's God-given or self-given. You can define that. But it came to me. And my life's purpose is to eradicate entrepreneurial poverty. Most entrepreneurs live check by check. I am here to fix that permanently on a global scale. It's a big, huge vision, but that's why I believe I exist. And every single day when I'm at work, I think about it. And it's not like I sit there and I look at my notes and read it to myself. I just think about it in moments. And a purpose pulls you forward. And when I'm serving a client, I'm excited and energized because that's my life's purpose. When we're doing an interview, like I am jacked right now because I pray this serves someone and gets them out of their entrepreneurial poverty. Figure out your life's purpose, have your business kind of build around that purpose, and you'll be surprised how much it pulls you forward. The financials, to some degree, will take care of themselves.
Do you have any rituals and things like in the morning? How do you, I'm curious how you start your day to prepare your mindset since it's such a big thing in business.
Yeah, so I am a little bit ritual oriented. I didn't even realize it. Every morning I wake up and I go through, I don't get out of bed. I just lay there and I go through a visualization process. Just first of health and family. And then I think about what's the biggest accomplishment I'll have today in my personal life and biggest accomplishment in my business life. Second ritual is I work out now 5 days a week. I always liked to work out, but seemed to miss it. I had a 5-day-a-week schedule. I'd work out maybe once a week. Teamed up with a partner. It's my neighbor. And at 6:30 in the morning, today was 23 degrees out. wet and disgusted. It was brutal. And I am literally bitching and moaning to myself for the entire hour workout, uphills, downhills on bike, running the tracks, push-ups, sprints, all these different things. I am bitching and moaning until it's over. And I'm like, wow, I feel good. So I get an accountability partner. Then I come in, have my coffee, meet with my team. We do a daily huddle. I totally believe in that. So there's 9 of us. We sit around, we give updates. Then I have a marketing huddle because that's what I lead one of our little divisions in. There's 3 of us. We have our marketing huddle, and then I'm off to the big one. And the big one's what's the most important thing I need to get done in this day. Do that first. Start chipping away at it, and do not leave the office until it's done. And then the rest of the day, plays out. I do stuff like this, which I love. So.
Well, you are awesome at it. Okay, what are those 3 questions that you have your clients ask their clients that kind of open up their world?
Okay, I'll tell you quickly, because as I look at the clock, someone's opened my door. We have our ribbon cutting ceremony.
Yes,
so here
you have to go, but they need to hear this. So
they need to hear this. Yeah, this is the last one, so hold on tight. First question, ask your best clients, what am I doing right now? This is a Jedi mind trick, because when you ask your best customers what you're doing right, they will not tell you. They will actually tell you what they're observing. So if you ask your customer, hey, what am I doing right? And they say, you're so responsive, or you're so detail-oriented, or you're so kind, or you're so engaged, whatever they say you're so much of, they want more of that. That's what they're measuring you by. I realize you do hundreds of thousands of things to care for your clients, but they measure you on 1 or 2 things. When you ask them what you're doing right, you must amplify that. Second question, what am I doing wrong? But here's the Jedi mind trick. Do not ask that, because people won't tell you what you're doing wrong. Kate, we were talking about this yesterday. Like, if there was a booger flapping out of my nose right now, you wouldn't say anything. You wouldn't broadcast the video, but you wouldn't say a word, because it's socially inappropriate between 2 humans. But if I was out of the room and you were talking with one of your friends, you're like, this guy Mike, like, he had this huge snot burger flapping around. He was disgusting. You would have the conversation with someone else. So ask your best clients, what's wrong with my industry? And now you're asking about the person outside the room, and a candid conversation will invoke. Last question, what other vendors do you depend on? This is also a Jedi mind trick. Once you discover your clients' other vendors, not your competitors, but the other vendors they work with, you will find the complements to your business. Meaning, you all share this mutual client. Chances are those other vendors work with other clients just like your best client. And if you collaborate with them, it's the gateway to all these other clients just like your best client.
Awesome. That is a great way to end it. I know that you have to go, but Mike, thank you so much for chatting with me. You are awesome. For anyone watching, I'm telling you, you just need to read all of his books. They're all amazing. Check him out. Go to MikeMichalowicz.com, or what is the easier URL?
MikeMotorbike.com is my high school nickname. Go to MikeMotorbike.com. MikeMotorbike.com,
just for easeability. So Mike, thank you so much. You are awesome. Thank you for doing everything that you do. If anyone has a chance to see him speak when he's around, definitely take the opportunity, because he's engaging, fun, awesome. So check him out. Mike, thank you. You rock.